I want you to picture something for me. Not a stage, not a spotlight, not the Michael Jackson you already know. I want you to picture a hallway. A narrow, sweat-stained hallway behind a theater in Chicago. 1965. The walls are cinder block, painted over in this sickly green color that looks like the inside of a hospital. There's a radiator clanking in the corner. The carpet, if you can even call it carpet, is worn down to the thread in the middle. Like 1,000 shoes have walked the same nervous path before 1,000 shows. And standing in that hallway is a child. 7 years old, maybe 60 pounds soaking wet. His shoes are off because they're a half size too small and his feet hurt. He's standing on that worn carpet in bare feet, and his toes are curling against the cold. He's not crying. He's not fidgeting. He's just standing there, still, watching the doorway at the end of the hall like it's the mouth of a cave he's about to walk into. And here's what gets me. If you saw him, if you were walking past him right then, you would have felt sorry for him. Not inspired, not amazed, not, oh, that kid's going to change music forever. No, you would have felt pity. Because he looked tiny. He looked vulnerable. He looked like somebody's little brother who wandered backstage by accident and was about to get shooed away by a security guard. And then he opened his mouth. And then one man, a man nobody's ever interviewed, a man whose name never made a single headline, forever. This is the story that man carried for 30 years before he told anyone. And I believe it's the real origin story of the King of Pop. Before I tell you what happened between Michael Jackson and James Brown, I need to tell you about the man who saw it. His name, and I'm going to respect his family's request here. Chapter 2, 2300 Jackson Street. That house was a factory. Visual, exterior shots of 2300 Jackson Street, Gary, Indiana. The small, two-bedroom bungalow. Tight framing on the front door, the windows, the cramped yard. Historical photos of the Jackson family. Narrator, VO. Now, to understand why this 90-second moment mattered so much, you have to understand where Michael Jackson came from. Not metaphorically, physically. 2300 Jackson Street, Gary, Indiana. If you've never been to Gary, let me paint it for you. In the 1960s, it was a steel town. U.S. Steel ran everything. The air tasted like metal. The snow turned gray before it hit the ground. And the houses on Jackson Street were small. Not cozy small. Not charming small. Small like you could hear every conversation in every room whether you wanted to or not. The Jackson house had 2 bedrooms. 2 for Joe and Catherine and eventually 9 children. Leonard knew this house. Not well, but he'd driven past it. He knew people who knew the Jacksons. Gary was that kind of town, 3 degrees of separation at most. And what everyone knew about that house was this. Joe Jackson ran it like a drill sergeant runs a barracks. Rehearsals happened in the living room. The furniture got pushed against the walls.
Here's how Leonard told it. Joe Jackson had brought the boys to the Regal. Not to perform, not officially. Joe had connections. He knew people who knew people. He'd gotten backstage access the way a lot of ambitious fathers in that era got backstage access. By being persistent to the point of being annoying, until someone said yes, just to make him stop. The plan, as far as Leonard understood it, was simple. Joe wanted James Brown to see Michael sing. Just for a moment. Just long enough to plant a seed. But here's the thing about backstage at the Regal during a James Brown show. There were always people backstage trying to get James Brown to see something. A demo tape, a new act, a cousin who could sing. James Brown's people were experts at the polite deflection, the firm no, the Mr. Brown is preparing for his performance. And that's exactly what was happening. Leonard watched from the end of the hallway. He was replacing a light fixture, or pretending to, because honestly, he wanted to see what was going to happen. Joe was talking to one of Brown's road managers. The road manager was shaking his head. The other Jackson brothers were huddled together, looking nervous. And Michael was alone, standing on that worn carpet in bare feet. Leonard said, and this is the part that still gets me, he said the boy wasn't nervous. He wasn't bouncing around or being a kid. He was studying. His eyes were moving. He was looking at the doorway where James Brown's dressing room was, and he was absorbing something, taking in the energy of the place, the sounds, the feel, like a musician who was already working before anyone asked him to. And then the dressing room door opened, and James Brown walked out.